Hello and welcome to the Ready for Change coaching audio blog. I'm Christopher Testa, and today the invitation is for you to be the hero of your own journey. The hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, a writer, literature professor, dedicated a great deal of his life working to studying the stories, religions, and mythologies of the world, discovering what he described as a common pattern between them all. He called this the monomyth, or as we more commonly know it, the hero's journey. D- Don't worry if neither term is familiar to you. If you've ever watched Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, or really most of the popular movies and stories of our time, you've likely witnessed some expression of this monomyth, this hero's journey. So, with that said, you may be curious, how does this connect to this week's article? Campbell's powerful discovery didn't just influence people like George Lucas. It has also been a significant area of focus in philosophy and psychology. And for myself, a great area of inspiration and influence for how I've lived my own life, gone through my own change, and how I help my own clients as a coach and counselor. What makes the hero's journey a fantastic storytelling model is that it closely reflects what most of us, if not all of us, experience, or more accurately, need to experience to live a fulfilling life. So, in this article, I want to draw parallels between our everyday modern lives and the hero's journey. I want to show how all of us, to some degree, are reluctant heroes called into action, each facing our own dragons and empires of to overcome. Let's start with a quick reflection activity. As usual, try not to qualify or judge your responses. This is just for you. Start by recalling a moment when you were called to action. This could be a significant change that was thrust upon you, or a change you needed to make for your own well being. Perhaps it was an opportunity that came up that you had the choice to take. You could pause this audio now, take a moment to reflect. Okay, now consider what challenges arose and how you navigated them. Did you face them head on, or did you turn away, maybe turn back to the old way? Take a moment to reflect now. Okay, welcome back. Now, one last reflection. What was the result? Whether you did face it head on or you turned away, what was the outcome? Take a moment to reflect now. Okay, and welcome back. If, as you reflect, you notice that you do tend to turn back more often than you face your challenge, first of all, just know that it's normal. It's common for people to turn back. Remember the fear of failure choice loop from last week's reflection? One of the causes of turning back is that so many of us do not see ourselves as the heroes of our own stories. Limiting beliefs, internal and external naysayers convince us that we're the side character. And when we believe that, it becomes easy to stay stuck, to loop back into discomfort of old ways rather than stepping forward, embracing the adventure, and overcoming trials and ultimately slaying the dragon. So let's talk about this hero's journey. Campbell's hero's journey is considered a loop. It typically starts with the status quo or call to action, leading into adventure, trials and tribulations, the great foe, and eventually a return home, newly changed. The first stage, the ordinary world or status quo stage, is where life is as we know it. It's routine, familiar, perhaps comfortable, or for others, boring. Take Bilbo, for example. He was content with his adventureless or adventure-free life, while Luke was bored on the farm with his family and uncle. Either way, the hero stands on the precipice of change, wanted or not, and then the to action arrives. This is the moment the hero is invited or thrust into adventure. Bilbo receives a visit from Gandalf. Luke discovers a message from Princess Leia. Neo receives a mysterious message on his computer. Calls vary. Sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's a shout. And what comes next? Usually, the refusal of the call. The would be hero becomes convinced they aren't strong enough or aren't the one. That whisper becomes a shout. The invitation becomes a demand. Luke refuses Obi-Wan until discovering that the farm has been destroyed. Bilbo insists he's no longer a burglar. Neo exits the car, starting down that dark and rainy alley, but then realizes he can't return to the status quo. You know where that road leads, Neo. Next comes the supernatural aid. This is where the hero meets the teacher or guide who helps the hero see their potential. Obi-Wan, Gandalf, Morpheus. The hero then crosses the threshold into the unknown. Sam and Frodo leave the Shire for the first time. Luke enters the vast universe with Solo and Chewie. Neo has to choose between the blue and the red pill. Once the choice is made, the hero enters the belly of the whale. This is the moment of no return. Neo chooses the red pill. From there comes the road of trials. The hero faces tests, discovers allies and enemies. They train, make mistakes, fail, learn, gradually become strong enough to face the great challenge. Approaching the innermost cave, meaning confronting the primary foe, Smaug's lair, Mordor, the Death Star. The battle ensues. The hero often falls, even dies, but returns changed to claim their boon, their prize, their reward. Finally, the hero returns home. The resurrection and reintegration, they're now transformed, seeing the world with new understanding. Okay, that's kind of an overview, but it is, in short, the idea of the hero's journey. And so, what are you saying? I'm Neo? You might be thinking, awesome, great. When do I become a Jedi? Or, well, I don't know any wizards, but I guess I'll trust the process. Okay. There may not be a literal wizard or Jedi, and you're not exactly Neo. But in a very real sense, you are the one. It just looks different in your story. Let me expand. I'll walk through the hero's journey again, this time drawing comparisons to the stories most familiar to us regular folks. These are the stories that I've encountered in my own life or the lives of the folks that I get the opportunity to work with in my coaching and counseling. Although we don't know actual wizards and the world isn't threatened by some evil sorcerer, well, not exactly, we each have our own foes. So let's begin with the call to action. It may not be a gray bearded wizard or a robot delivering a princess's message, but it may be something very real. A friend pointing out harmful behavior, your body warning you to change, a job loss, a diagnosis, or a life event that leaves no room for delay. It could also be something you can choose, an opportunity, healthier direction, a new start. This is the call. Sometimes a hint, sometimes it's a sledgehammer. The question is, how will you answer it? The truth is, most of the time, we answer with denial. That's the refusal. And refusal sounds like, I know I need to change, but dot, dot, dot. I'm not good enough. Life is stacked up against me right now. It's not the right time. I need to get my ducks in a row. The refusal might happen more than once. Again, remembering the choice loop. But eventually the call comes in a way that it cannot be ignored. When the pain of staying the same outweighs the fear of change, we accept the call. As we are ready to accept the call, we might also be ready to acknowledge that we don't have to do this on our own. It is time for our own supernatural aid. And, and although we may not have access to Morpheus, in real life, your Obi-Wan or Gandalf may be a mentor, coach, or a counselor. Actually, it's usually at this stage, this stage of readiness for change that clients tend to find me. This is not someone who tells you what to do, but someone who helps you uncover your own potential. This stage is where you begin to see that you can do this and that you don't have to do it alone. Here, you begin mapping out what comes next, preparing for the version of yourself you're trying to become. And that does lead you into crossing of the threshold. The crossing of the threshold is choosing discomfort for the sake of growth, turning a hobby into a side hustle, maybe, or finally advocating for yourself, ending unhealthy relationships, leaving a job, or starting something fresh. Whatever it is, you've chosen to do the darn thing. You've chosen the red pill. People say the first step is the hardest, and I tend to agree. It often is. But staying the course is in itself its own challenge. In Campbell's mono myth, the next stages are the belly of the whale and the road of trials. This is where you go in. You enter the Death Star for the first time. I remember when Luke was searching for Leia for the first time. You really are trying to do the thing, but it does mean you will come across your own road of trials. Here you discover who supports you and who doesn't. You face practical obstacles like time and money, and internal ones like beliefs, fears, and ego. Most people eventually discover that the greatest foe was never the external challenge. The real dragon is often ourselves. And the innermost cave becomes an inward journey. The the confronting of ego, limiting beliefs, old patterns of protection that once served but now keep you stuck. Facing this part of you is profoundly difficult. It requires radical accountability, not shame, not condemnation, simply truth. And so, the ordeal, the inner crisis, the final battle is with yourself. The boon, the prize, the outcome, reclaiming yourself. You emerge changed, aware of who you want to become. And yes, this means letting an old version of you die. And grieving that version is common and normal. But from there, the hero falls and then is resurrected. This leads to the road home. The road home is integrating a new story, inviting in people aligned with the version of you and releasing those who no longer fit. You know who you are, you know what matters, and you no longer are swayed by what once dissuaded you. The journey comes full circle. You are changed and ready for the next call. And often at this stage of change, people want to help others on their journeys. The hero becomes the aid. I know this because I lived this. My journey required overcoming burnout, changing careers, healing from my misuse of alcohol, and facing the unresolved grief, both death and not death related losses that shaped my life. My physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health were compromised. I denied the call again and again until I no longer could. The journey for me has been epic. The battle's fierce, tiring, and deeply saddening at times. But here I stand. I understand myself in ways I just never could have before. When the call comes, I'm ready to answer. Well, most of the time. The journey continues. As long as I am actively participating in this thing called life, I accept that the call will keep coming and I will take up my mantle. And when I complete the circle, I will remember to cherish and celebrate the adventures that have shaped me. It's why I am a coach and counselor. It's why I'm an educator for those who wish to become coaches and counselors themselves. It is an honor to partner with heroes embarking on their own journeys, to witness and in some small way maybe be a part of others facing their dragons and becoming ready to help others in turn. So my hope for you is that in reading this, you will answer the call in whatever way makes sense to you. You will find your aid, whoever that might be. You will face the trials. And when you make mistakes, Even when you get knocked down, even when you fail, you'll get back up, you will dust yourself off, and you will complete your grand adventure. You'll dare to mess it up, you'll dare to fail forward, and you'll remember you do not have to do it alone. And until next time, ciao.